What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Heck versus Hell, where the truth we tell. Welcome and welcome back to this wonderful platform that we have here, and thank you for being a part of it, as it has no bearing necessity if you weren't here to continue out this journey with us. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey as well as you with ours. And if you are new here, please do remember to check us out anywhere on www.realdoubledosechannel.com or www.realdoubledosechannel.com/blogspot.com. I think I said that wrong. Well, I'll correct it. Anyways, check us out. If you have any email inquiries or would like to just get to know us, or reach out to us rather, and have a certain thing that you want to say, whatever it may be, do reach out to us at flipdaswitch@reborn.com. That is FLIPDASWITCH at REBORN.com. I do want to say there's a lot of places we be touching over here, but going on to this episode, one of the most important things that we have to look at, no matter where it is that you are in the world, the faith has fallen. What exactly do we mean by this? And as you can maybe already perceive, this is going to be a little bit of a quicker one. But if we look at what was from the biblical days, from the scripture that we read, from those point in times, we understand that the relation between man and God was so much more powerful and so much more divine. There is not as many people like the disciples in this world today. There is very, very few that are willing to put their life on the line for God. Actually, literally put their life on the line for God. Just like Daniel did whenever he was lowered into the den of the lions, or whenever he went and he was put in the fire, because he didn't deny God. The faith in knowing that there is an all-powerful, eternal God that lives within us, that is a part of us, that is always looking after us, that always has the best intentions, that created everything. That God, all just, all merciful, the same one that came down to redeem us, that God is one with us. And I say the faith has fallen because in those days, the authority that they had to heal the sick, to cure ailments and blindness that were just so far-fetched in the possibility of what we try to comprehend as a reality, and be able to do it is an incredible blessing, but it goes to show the faith that we no longer have. We have it whenever it comes to medical science, and that's one of the biggest things that I do hold against so much modernization, because all these things, they take the authority of what was already given, the blessing that was already put upon us, and they try to do it themselves, as if to say, we don't need you, God. We can do it without you. We can heal the blind without you. We can get these people walking again without you. We can cure cancer. We can bring people back to life with the defibrillators that we made without you. And it's all through science. Now, mind you, they didn't put all this perfect tuning in place. They just found it out in order to basically, in a way, spit in God's face. And it's so silly because, and I actually heard a story about that too. I want to say it was Sadhguru that had talked about a story. Now, I can't do it word for word, But essentially, down the line, much, much more modern civilization, there are astronauts in space. Once the world was no longer inhabitable, it was astronauts in space, three astronauts that were in space. And they were talking to God. God presented himself and he was there speaking to them. And they were communicating with him just like, two people would have a conversation. He came in as a man form. And they came up to him and said, "Well, God, I don't think we need you, old man. We got to the point where our technology is so advanced that we can do without you. As a matter of fact, we're going to challenge you, God. We're going to challenge you that we can grow plants in a bioengineered manner to where we take certain organisms and cells and combine them together to where we create an artificial plant that won't even come from a seed." So they go and they start creating this plant, right? They devote so much time and energy and effort into it. They get to the point where they've gotten 3 months in and they've engineered the plant, and it is somewhat like a seed, right? It is relatable to a seed. But then they go and they plant it in soil and water it and constantly water it. And finally, after another month, it sprouts. And it's right there, a little seedling, a little sapling poking out of the dirt. And they bring it to God. They're like, "We see, you see, old man, we don't need you. We can do this ourselves." And he's like, "Interesting. Now, there's one thing wrong. I see that you were able to make it, but get your own soil." And it's funny because that's exactly what scientists do. Is they go and they come up with all these understandings, principles, teachings, healings, modern medicine, modern everything, everything that is modernized, the technology that they have. If you really pay attention, humans did not create anything. Everything is an innovation. And there's a difference between invention and innovation. An invention is creating out of nothing, is creating with no reference. An innovation is taking a reference of something and putting it into a portion of reality, or building on something that has already previously been built. So, for example, a light bulb is still an innovation. Yes, you can say, "Oh, well, the technological wiring," it's still an innovation because the light, the basic foundation frequency, light is eternal. Light is from God. Okay, so they had to reference light to even understand, oh, we can see, right? Something that God already made so long ago that, well, actually is unmade. And they took it, and so they innovated a light bulb into place. In the same way, they use so much things, even whenever we look at Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all these things that are wireless, it is innovation from the frequencies that we emit, that sound emits, that light emits. It is frequencies which are also eternal. So they are innovations. Nothing is created. No matter what you want to put to the test, there is always something that is grounded in the creation and fine tuning of God. Doesn't matter what it is. We can do nothing without God, yet we put so much trust in taking our children to the hospital, in calling the ambulance, in calling 911 to help us. We'll put faith in these things, in man, in things that were created. Even the devil tries to replicate God. All right, tries to have his own kingdom, tries to have his own army, tries to have his own lovers, tries to have it's literally a replication in his own way. And it actually, I think it's a huge form of admiration, really, is if someone's copying you, hey, that's the big thing of admiration because it means really they aspire to be like you. That's exactly what Lucifer was trying to do. Is take over God's kingdom, is be God. So it's an envy point. So it's, but at the same time, even like that, everything was created through God, and we have so little faith to even believe that we put more things in what systems and technology that we made with our own hands, even if it's animals, even if it's statues and idols. We put more faith in these things than we do in the only living spirit that can vanquish the whole existence of every single mankind with a snap of a finger. And in the same way that created it with the word coming out. It is so insane to think about. It is absolutely incredible to think about because how can we have so little faith? How can we be so deluded by everything around us that we have so little faith, even in the authority that we were given? Not only that, but understanding that we are a part of God, that we are in oneness with Him, that we are sons and daughters of God. And just like a dad would come and protect his child, you don't think God would do that? It's only if we believe in them to do so. And even then, the Father will still step in. Father will still show you, I am here. Because that's what's happened to me. I've done that previously in the past, where I've gone and I've put my faith in my own works and my own understanding and what I can do in my own wits. And God still steps in and says, no, I got you. Our faith has truly fallen. And it gets us to the point where the adversaries have more power than us because they more so understand the capabilities of the design of mankind. And mankind is really our spiritual beings. They have more understanding in the power and the divine creation that God made. And they utilize it to their own advantage, right? Like I said, they try to take God out of the equation, but they utilize it to their own advantage. Even wicked people go and utilize the law of attraction, utilize affirmations, utilize creating their own universe. All these things that were divinely implanted as a natural structure in our programming, essentially, and who we truly are, and we don't utilize it to its full potential. We don't utilize it to actually go and lay our hand on the sick and let them be healed. We don't have that much faith, and that's one of the things that I want to come on here to say, because that is really, really, really the movement that we are launching. That is the movement that we really want to be on, is taking it back to that next level of faith, taking it back to those connectivities, right? And that's, I don't know if Lex has mentioned it, but there is something that she's got and she has been working on for a long time that is going to take us and help take us there, to help take us to that alignment of who we truly are, of understanding the self, right? Because if you've heard Lex, if you listen to Lex, she doesn't associate her flesh, her personality of this life with her eternal self. And it is incredibly admirable because she understands that. She understands that divine connection with God and understands that there really is no comparison. So although we see her living and breathing and moving and having attitudes and having a certain spiciness, the spirit that she truly is none of that. In the same way, you having your faults and your sins and everything that you see wrong with you is not truly you. In the same way, if we play video games and we have a character we're running around with and moving around with, that's not us, but we're controlling that character and we dress that character and we have that character do certain actions. It's the same way. So follow us, truly follow us on this journey, truly follow us on this mission and movement so that we can get to that point, because these days are coming. And I say this as a warning, not to scare you, just as Christ said, not to scare you, but to prepare you. Prepare you for what is to come, because these days are coming. I can't tell you a day, but it will. I am certain that within the next century, max the next century, those end days that were spoke about in the biblical times, in the book of John, in the book of Revelations, in the Gospels, before Christ transcended into heaven, in those scriptures, it speaks about those times where world will essentially be coming to an end, where this world will just be full of plagues and new world order and all these different structures and the mark of the beast and all these things that are to come and that have been prophesied to have always been destined to come. They will be coming here in the very, very near future. We are in that era right now. And we could look at that so deep, and that's one of the conversations that we will be having, deepness in that conversation. But we need to rise it again. Because just as it says the righteous falls 7 times but gets up 8, we need to get up once again. And there's a huge Christ consciousness going on so much around the world, really, so many people. And it's finally those times, if you really pay attention, people are finally realizing and noticing and acknowledging there is a divination and you have to pick a side. Now is the time to pick a side. You're either with me or against me. You either gather or you scatter. It's time to pick whose kingdom you're serving. There is no in between anymore. Even people that want to believe they're atheists, they know they are going against God. They just don't want to acknowledge God to be real. They know what they're doing. Even if they don't want to believe in God, they know there's a God. Every single person knows there is a God. Even those atheists, they just have a problem with God. And that's why they claim to be atheists. Prepare yourselves and raise that faith. Practice that faith. We'll be getting into more episodes where we will teach and go over and help understand how to cultivate faith. But for now, do what you can, do what you must. Get in the Word, get in deep prayer, get in deep meditation, separate yourself from the daily troubles, take away and throw away your anxieties, and get more aligned with God. Go back to the basic principles of what it means to align with God, of what it is to be one with Christ and walk in those footsteps. Walk that straight and narrow. I love each and every one of you. I hope you have a blessed one, and we will catch you on the flip side.